Today, we are diving into what I like to call your secret sauce on LinkedIn. We are going to look into engagement, and we are going to look into how you can increase the impressions of your content. Now, I know that most people talk about creating amazing content, creating valuable content. It is absolutely important. But one of the most overlooked factors is actually to understand your impressions and know how you can increase your impressions. And that is what I am going to share with you in today's video. So impressions refer to the number of times that your content is shown to other people on LinkedIn. So the higher number of your impressions, the more people have actually seen your content. And let's say you have 1,000 impressions on one post and you have 1,000 impressions on another post, but that doesn't mean that it's kind of exactly the same 1,000 people that have seen that particular post. And that is why it's so important to actually know how you can increase those number of impressions in an authentic and organic way. And the reason why you want to get loads of impressions on your content, it's not about going viral, because that is not the thing, right? It is about that your content is shown to the right people, to the right audience. And that also sends a little bit like a signal to the LinkedIn algorithm that this content, people find this content valuable, and we want to show it to more people. So you're actually supported by the algorithm so that your content is then shown to more people. And that is why it's so important that you know how you can like a little bit like impact the number of impressions on your post. And the ticket to that, or kind of the ingredient to that, is to increase your kind of, or to focus on your engagement. So I am going to break down engagement to you. And I have 3 different buckets and I'm going to share all 3 of them, and also what you shouldn't do and what I think you should do. And by engaging, I don't mean that you should be the first person to comment on some guru's post, because that is not sustainable in the long run. So I'm going to share a sustainable strategy that you can just take after this video and immediately implement exactly what I'm sharing with you. Because what is important, because I see it all the time, that people are super kind of excited about joining LinkedIn and they go all in and they are kind of giving it all for the first 6 months, and then they burn out and then they disappear. And that's not going to help you, right? It's not going to help the people that you want to help. So that is why we need to have a sustainable strategy for you, so that you kind of manage to show up something that fits your schedule, something that fits how you are, something that supports you and your business. And that is what I'm going to share with you today. This will help you to build your visibility, and it's also you won't burn out by kind of implementing this, trying to game up the system. So I broke it down, engagement, into 3 different buckets, and I'm going to break them down to you so that you can stay consistent with what it is that you're doing without trying to chase every comment or post or whatever it might be. So let's go through each and every one of them and how they can help you to build your audience and attract clients on LinkedIn, because that is, in the end, what you want, isn't it? In bucket number 1, we cover the how you engage in your own content, because I see it all the time. People post and then they ghost, right? So they disappear, sending signal to the algorithm, to the platform, that this person is not even interested in their own content. So that is why it's so important that as soon as you have posted on your you posted your content, you stay after on the platform, depending on how much engagement you have already. I usually stay something between 30 to 45 minutes after I have posted to engage on the comments that pop into my content. Because I've even been tagged in other people's content, and I head over to their post and then I comment on it, and the creator doesn't even kind of give my comment a thumbs up or a comment. And that is why it's so important. So kind of show the people that show up in your content, who support you in your content, that you like their comment, that you kind of engage in their comment, you respond to the comment, not just with thanks or 100% or whatever it might be. Sometimes I do that too, because it depends a little bit on what type of comment was it. But people who have taken the time to write a thoughtful comment in your content, make sure you celebrate them, make sure you support them, because that will kind of also support you in a way that you get more impressions on your post, the more people that comment on your post, and that includes yourself, right? So turn each kind of comment into a little bit like a mini conversation. I'm not a huge fan of asking follow-up questions in the comment section, because I know that the person who does that usually only does it to keep the engagement going in their post, and I don't find that really authentically. However, if it is a comment that you kind of find interesting, inspiring, or whatever it might be, that you maybe follow up with a question, but you can also phrase it so that the person who made the comment doesn't feel forced to respond to your follow-up question. So don't use kind of like the strategy of always asking follow-up questions in your post, because I think that can have a negative impact, that people don't want to comment on your post then, because they think that, oh, if I start commenting on their post, then they always ask all these follow-up questions, and that takes away from all the other posts that I want to comment on too. So if you use follow-up questions as part of your strategy, make sure they are genuine questions that you really want to ask, that you not only ask these questions to keep the engagement going in your own posts. In bucket number 2, we have engaging in other people's comment section. So when you engage in other people's comment section, there are a lot of things happening here. First of all, you show someone else, another creator, that you support their content. But you also show up, you kind of share their audience, so that the people who are following that person can actually see you. And that is why it's so important that you don't just write, oh, great post, inspiring, thank you for sharing, but that you put some value into these types of comments. I have had clients coming to me after they have seen me commenting on someone else's post. And no, that does not mean that you are going to share any of your links in anyone else's comment section or pitch yourself in someone else's comment section. Absolutely not. Treat the person as kind of like a host of the best party that you've ever attended. Treat them with respect and respond to their content truthfully, authentically. Don't put someone down. You can, of course, you can question if you don't agree with what they're saying, because that also shows you kind of, you don't have to be the good girl or the good boy who always kind of like confirms what the authors are writing or what the creators are writing. But I would write it kind of like a little bit like diplomatically, like putting this is how I see it, something like that. So if you leave kind of like very high level comments, that doesn't show your personality. And that is also why it's so important that absolutely not, do not even think of installing a Chrome extension that helps you to create comments on kind of like automatically with a bot, because that is not going to build your brand. That even risks you to destroy your brand. And I know of creators who block people that actually use bots as part of their comment strategy, because we see that, right? We spot it immediately when someone is using a bot. And as I said, many creators actually block those people, and you don't want to be blocked, right? You absolutely don't want to be blocked by someone. So take a few extra seconds and add a thoughtful comment on someone else's post, because what you do then is you actually build a relationship with the person who created the content. And that is, if you tie it back to what I said in the beginning, where I said you don't have to be the first person to comment on a guru's post. If, depending on how big you are or how big your account is, I would actually start with connecting with people that are either a little bit below your number of followers or connections, or maybe max 10, 20, 30, 50,000 followers, because they want to grow too. So they are more willing to actually go to your account and comment on your stuff too. So when you pick people to connect with and to that you can comment on their stuff, don't only think, oh, I only need to comment on the gurus because they have said that, and if I'm the first to comment on a guru's post, then I can gain hundreds of followers. Yeah, but what type of followers, right? You want to have the right type of followers, not just any followers, right? You want to have the people that you connect with, the people that you kind of like and trust and that you are inspired by. So make sure that when you send your connect requests, that they are to people that you really like and you find it inspiring, because that is what will make the commenting fun as part of your strategy. If you feel that, oh, I have to comment now again, then we're back to the burnout piece, right? So instead, Pick 5 to 10 to 20 people that you comment on regularly. And with regularly, I actually suggest daily, right? Depending if it's like Monday to Friday or Monday to Sunday. If you do the Monday to Sunday, then we're back at the burnout piece, right? So I would rather build in a couple of days where you take a break from LinkedIn, because it is super easy to get sucked in, right? Super easy to get sucked in and to think that, oh, I have to comment daily, when it's better actually if you narrow it down a little bit, you do it a little bit more strategically, because then you will you will be able to do it for a longer period of time, not just for 6 months or so. In bucket number 3, I am going to talk about how you engage in the direct messages, because that is where the magic happens. I know I mentioned that I have gained clients through commenting in other people's content, but it's not as if they wrote in that comment section that, hey, Josephine, I would love to work with you. No, they sent me a DM and then said, this sounds really interesting. Is this something you can support me with? So that is why you want to continue the discussion in the direct messages. And whatever you do, don't send a pitch in your first or second message. Don't send any links to your stuff in your first or second message, because you have no clue if the person that you're connecting with even have their problem. Even have the problem that you would love to help them to solve. You have no clue if they have already just hired someone who are helping them with that problem. But by being there, let's assume they did hire someone, maybe just a month ago. If you immediately pitch slap them and then just leave them when they don't respond immediately, you have lost the chance to pick up even after they have finished that contract with that other person. However, if you show up like a supportive and understanding person in their direct messages, they will remember you. When they need someone to solve the particular problem that you are helping them solve, they will remember you, and then they might reach out to you, right? So that is the whole point in the direct messages, in the commenting, both in your own content, but all in other people's content, that you stay on top of mind to all the people that are out there, not just to a selected few, and don't chase new people all the time. Absolutely don't pitch slap immediately, because that will only cause you to lose trust before you even had the chance to build it. Okay, so how do you then send a DM to someone that you might not have connected with before? Well, first I would say check out their profile. Do you see something in their profile? I usually check out, I read their about section, I read their experiences section. I see if they, depending on the name, I see if they have what types of languages they have in their profile. And then I try to find something that we have in common, and I write about that in the direct message. Hey, I see you also worked at EY. Hey, I see you also have been in banking. Or, hey, I see you moved to Mallorca, whatever it might be, right? So that you show interest because you have actually read their profile. Don't just send a connect request or a DM without checking their profile first. That is the least you can do. And then people might say, but oh, Josephine, this whole strategy, engaging in other people's content, engaging in my own content, connecting with people in the direct messages, that takes so much time. Yeah, but what is the alternative? What is it that you want to do instead? I'm not telling you to send out 200 direct messages per week. I actually saw someone recommending this. That is not what you're doing. If you start by doing that, first of all, LinkedIn will probably flag you as a bot. So they might block you or send you into LinkedIn jail. But it will also burn you out, right? I also don't use automated messages. I know that there are people who recommend that too, but as soon as I get an automated message, and you see that too, right? You respond to their connect request, bam, you have an automated message in your inbox. I'm not going to be there to entertain a bot until that person thinks that I have, ticked all the boxes and now they are ready to take over from the bot. No, make sure that instead of having hundreds of automated fake discussions, focus on 10 real discussions. If you can close one of them, was it worth it? If you can close 2 of them, was it worth it? And when we say close, We actually say, when you can help and support them, was it worth it? I think it was, right? So instead of kind of sending hundreds of connect requests, adding in automated discussions, focus on 10, 20 real authentic conversations, and then invite these people maybe to a coffee call just to get to know each other, right? Don't make this any stranger than it needs to be. And maybe kind of like the best tip I can give you is that when you connect with people in a direct message, treat them as you would when you are on a cocktail party or at a cocktail party. When you walk into a cocktail party, you're not just, you're not just walking by everyone and ignoring everyone. If someone comes up to you and they raise their glass to you and they say, hey, I would love to connect with you, you introduce yourself usually and you give something what you have in common. You also wouldn't kind of stand up straight and shout out your elevator pitch. You would talk like a normal person to these people. Don't make it any weirder than it needs to be. Treat everyone as you would when you are at a cocktail party. It's easy as that, not stranger than that. So I've covered the 3 buckets. So engage in your own content, engage in other people's content, and kind of engage in the direct messages. Start real conversations. And I like to add in engagement pods. I don't use engagement pods, and you shouldn't either. And let me tell you why. Because there are free engagement pods and there are paid engagement pods where big LinkedIn gurus kind of invite people to join their engagement pods, and for a certain amount every month, they engage a little bit in that other person's content. What happens then is that you draw in fake engagement into your content. It's actually, if you think about it, it's a little bit like buying followers on Instagram. Would you buy followers on Instagram? Probably not. With engagement pods, it's exactly the same thing. So you create fake engagement, or the engagement pods, they create fake engagement on content. And what that makes it, if you would be in an engagement pod, you wouldn't know what really resonates with your audience. So how can you then create content that actually attracts the right people? Because you have engagement in your content, but you don't know, is it authentic, or is it just because I'm in this engagement pod? You also have a different type of people in your network then, not people that are your ideal clients, meaning that they will then you will then attract more of these types of people, and that will not help you in your business either. And that is why, yes, you can absolutely, when you find someone that has inspiring content, you comment on their stuff, they go back and comment on your stuff. It creates kind of like a supportive, engaging community. If they then have people in their audience that might be your ideal clients, it's a perfect match. Independently, if they are kind of like a peer to you offering a similar service like you do, or if they do something completely different, but the audience is more or less the same, right? So make sure you connect with people that your audience might be interested in what they are doing and what you are doing. I, for example, had once a person telling me that, oh, I don't engage in your content, Josephine, because you anyways have so much engagement. But it's not about me. It's also less about her. It is about the people that are kind of like in my network. Because I teach a lot about how to build a business when you have left your corporate career. And she is a courage coach. So let's assume someone is still in corporate and they are thinking about starting their business, but they don't really know how to do that, or whether they should actually take the step. They have a lot of fears and thoughts around that keeps them back. And if she would then show up commenting in my content and in my comment section regularly, these people will see her and they will most likely say, hey, I'm not yet ready for Josephine. However, I could absolutely use a courage coach. So by doing that, by showing up in my content or someone else's content for that matter, you have the possibility to actually help so many more people. Don't ever think that, oh, I can't comment on their stuff because they are a competitor or they are a peer or they have so much engagement already. Because people will see you and they will see you when you comment, and you, by commenting on other people's posts, you will actually help more people. So to recap this quickly, so LinkedIn engagement is about creating a two-way communication street. It's not a one-way. It's not about posting and ghosting, because that will not help you to increase the engagement and the impressions on your content. Engage meaningfully with people in your own comment section, in other people's comment section, and in the DMs to build authentic and real connections with people. And you will see that your impressions and the engagement will increase significantly, and there are no pods required. So if you found this helpful, remember to subscribe and like, and also add a comment underneath this video which bucket you will focus on first, because that is also one thing, right? If you haven't been doing any of these things before, then start with one, pick one, and you go all in on that one. So thank you so much, and see you next week.